This is a production log to show how I created a website homepage in Photoshop. Firstly, I opened Photoshop and I created a document size in A4, and it was called a website, LW Media website. Then I clicked OK, and I instantly changed the layout to portrait instead of landscape by doing what I've just shown on screen. I then clicked File and opened the first background image I was going to use. I used a dark wooden background image. It looked really cool, really effective. So I selected that once it was opened, copied it and dragged it onto the new document. After using there, located it in the top corner and I resized it to an appropriate size so it filled the whole of the blank page, and then positioned it accordingly. Once that was done, I quite liked the effect that gave, so I wanted to add a bit more depth to the background. So I started off with that as a foundation. Then I would open the Welsh Dragon file that I'd taken, and I'd select all of that again, copy it and put it on top of the wooden effect that was already there. So to do that, then I copied, pasted it, put it in the top corner and resized it because I wanted it to fill the whole of the image. Once it was sized correctly, I adjusted it until it was perfectly bang on in the middle of the screen, and then I went to opacity and turned it down to 15% because at the time I thought 15% did look the best. Then after I did that, I clicked adjustment and changed it to black and white, and I refiddled with the opacity again because to get it so it was perfect, and it was perfect at 15%. Once this was done, the next thing I did is I wanted to open the logo that I created for the website, the Lyndon Williams Media, and I selected that by Magic Wand tool, the outside, and then select inverse, so it just selected the logo and not the little white strip around the outside. Then I copied and pasted it and dropped it on. I repositioned it to a position I thought would look good. I decided to go with roughly in the middle, so I evened out each side and I placed the middle of it directly in line with the colour change between white and green on the Welsh Dragon that cut the middle of the Union Jack in half. I added an outer glow, so give it some more depth and a bit of an edge. So to do that, I changed it to normal on the mode, changed the colour to black, changed the opacity to 100%, and I messed about with the size of it until it looked at the best effect. And once that was done, I gave it a quick look over and clicked OK. The next thing to do was write down the page names. To do that, I just clicked the text icon and wrote down the name of the pages on the website. They are Home, About Me. Before this though, I changed the fonts and stuff, so I put size 18 fonts, and I changed the font to a custom font on my computer that I can't actually pronounce, so I won't even try. So the page names were Home, About Me, Radio and Voiceover, Concept Art, Graphic Design, and Contact. So they were the 6 pages, and so the design I wanted to do them in. I wanted to write them first. The font I was going to keep the same. The colour I was going to keep the same. It's going to stay white because it would stand out quite well, I thought. So once I wrote them in, I positioned them correctly until I thought they looked pretty good. So now here I am positioning them into place, and I can see that the graphic design and contact bit at the bottom just overlaps, so I just added a few more spaces in there to look pretty good. The next thing I did then, once that was done, is I had messed about with the font sizes and I just experimented a little bit, but it didn't work out too well, so size 18 was the correct font I chosen, size font. The next thing I did was I went into the effects button and clicked a stroke on the outside of it and put the pixel density to 3 and the colour black. That was just to make it look a little bit of an edge to the writing, so it stand out a bit more, and then that was it completed. Simple design, I think it was very effective. It looks very professional and quite artistic, which I quite like. Next thing I did was to add, actually it wasn't finished at this point, I added a border around the outside. Well, not completely around the outside, I was just adding it to the top and bottom. This was a last minute finish touch. I wasn't originally going to put this on, but I thought it needed something there. So to do this, I selected an area where I wanted the border to happen, and then found moved it about, did quite a few adjustments till I found it was the perfect place. Then I clicked the background layer and copied and pasted it so it was white effectively. A simple way of doing it. I then changed the colour overlay to black. So I went into the effects and then I clicked OK. The next thing I did, I realised I had to duplicate the layer because I'm going to put one at the top and bottom. So I positioned them both accordingly, and then I can put the two different layers into one, and merged the layers. So to do that, I converted to a smart object and rasterized the layer, and then I clicked a outer glow, and I just changed it up to pasted it up to 100%, changed it to a normal setting, and then put it in black. I tried white originally, but it just didn't look too good, and I realised, this needs to change into black. So it was all a bit of experimenting at this point, so nothing was too set in the stone. So I changed it to black, and then looked at it, just adjusted again with the size, so it gives it more of an outer blur, and then I thought at that point that it looked really, really good, and I was overall really happy with it. So the next thing I did was to save it. So to do that, I went to File and I saved as, and it was already named appropriate file name, LW Media Design. And then I saved for web and web. They saved it as a JPEG file. The original save just saves it as a PDF. To this then, I needed to change it to a JPEG file. To do that, I just clicked the little drop down menu, just froze at this point. And then, so I give it a minute. So I just pause the video while it froze, and I changed it to a JPEG, made sure it was at maximum quality with 100%, and then clicked save, and it should have already had the appropriate file name there as LW Media Website Design. I found the correct location to save it, because I quite file organisation, so I quite like that sort of stuff, quite OCD. So then once that was done, it was finished, and I went to view it in the normal viewfinder. So I went through my files and opened it there so I could have a good look at it. So as you can see, the whole overall feel of it looked really good, and I was really pleased. So thank you for watching the video. See you soon.